Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 30th of September, a day after the debate, and we're going to talk about that. Let's go into the markets and kind of look at how they reacted during and after the debate. So we're just going into yesterday, 29th, we had a pretty good come down from the overnight action, and there was a pretty decent sell-off fairly early on in the morning. But it did not hold. They eventually pulled back, and then we get into the overnight action and the debate. And there was a very clear points within the debate at which the markets moved up quite a good clip. And then after the debate, it looks like all of those snap traders took their trades and things came down. And then after that, we started to see a further slide down. Now, there was some Chinese data, and you got all of the things with second wave concerns in the UK and things like that. So I'm not sure that we can really say if this second move down was also a reaction to the debate or not. It was probably a factor, though. All right. Really quickly, just going into the other instruments. Treasuries still kind of hanging out here pretty high. Oil took a really big dip yesterday and is kind of flat since then. Gold maybe seeing some bullishness again. I mean, that looks like they might be turning it back up, so we'll see. Copper's still within the range and not telling us where it's going. So for my own analysis, first, I want to point out that most of the snap polls and so forth showed an advantage for Biden. I'm a little uncertain about how, like, when you watch the debate and you just come out afterwards, more people will be convinced towards Biden or Donald Trump or what have you. I really don't think there's a whole lot of people that are undecided at this point. This is really a race. It's more about, things on the margins. By the way, we're going to get the GDP, Canadian GDP and core PZ prices and things like that here in a minute, but it's not a huge deal, so I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. We'll just talk through it, right? Anyways, it's very much, this race is going to be much more about, small little groups on the margins, right? So, like, if Donald Trump can convince, 1 or 2% more Black Americans to vote for him, that would be extremely significant. If Donald Trump was able to get 1 or 2% more white suburban women to vote for him, that would be significant. But the problem I see with the debate, you could go in, I think a lot of the Donald Trump supporters feel that Donald Trump won. I think that when I was watching it, I certainly enjoyed watching it, and I felt energized at points. But it was a really messy debate. That is the thing that everybody's going to notice about it, is that it was a really messy and and the problem with that is that from a strategic perspective, that's not good for Donald Trump. When I look at what does Donald Trump need to accomplish right now, who does he need to pull over? I don't believe that he helped himself in the debate there. So, for instance, a really good example here is that Donald Trump really needs to focus on Black and minority voters. The more of them that he can get to cross the aisle and vote for him, that makes a significant difference because every voter that comes over basically counts as double, right? So he talked a lot. Well, not talked a lot, but one of his best moments was the whole period where they were talking about, Antifa and law and order, and he did a really good job on law and order, and I think that helps. But Donald Trump also had this plan out earlier this week that included several things that help the African American community. He didn't say a thing about it, right? Like they were telegraphing that they had that all set up for going into the debate, and he didn't bring that up, right? Um, Joe Biden has a plan that is basically going to destroy suburban areas. They're going to force suburban areas to have certain amount of low income housing, and the whole strategy here seems to be to change the demographics of suburbs and make them Democrat areas. It's this is something that Donald Trump could really focus on. You want to get those white suburban moms? Tell them that they're going to force, the next block over to become low income housing. He didn't bring that up. These are those sorts of things, and so to me, it was a really big missed opportunity for Donald Trump. I don't know if you're going to get another opportunity like that or not. I mean, I've certainly seen times where it was like the first debate went through and everybody thought, well, that's it. That's the end. And the debate is, the election is going to be like X because of the debate. And it hasn't been that way. This time is kind of a unique situation. I don't know if a whole lot of people are going to tune in again, especially since it was so contention. There's so much contention in it. So, yeah. So I think I'm just going to say missed opportunity is probably the strongest that I can say. But I don't know. The thing is like when you look at the polling and stuff, obviously it's not good for Donald Trump. I don't know how accurate that polling is. I think that we're in a situation where it's likely to be bad for Donald Trump. But despite that, for Donald Trump to really have a chance, I think that he needs some momentum behind him going into election day. And I don't know if he's going to have that. So that is my analysis of the debate. Okay, let's get some ECB speakers going on and a bunch of things. I don't know if they really matter. Get the PCE prices was spot 8 versus negative spot 8 versus negative 1. So I guess that's good for further stimulus. GDP price index negative 2 spot 1. This is some serious deflation, man. GDP month over month 3% versus an estimated 3% from Canada. Okie dokie. So we are seeing a little bit of bullishness here in the indexes. Let's see if they're going to claw back to 35 area. Let's come in here, and we're a little late today, but for some reason the stream's not as does everything sound good and everything? Oh dear, where did my docs go? Like I closed them yesterday and now I can't get them back. There we go. Auto read features.
Troubleshooters says hello.
How's it going? How are you today? Welcome back. I have a doc for stats. There we go. There. Cool. Okay. Better. Still messing with my setup here. They're ready to go again. I think that they're going to run into a wall at some point, but I'm not 100% sure where. Probably the
Winston's
best
mom says
spot
good
would
morning.
be 35.
Did you sleep well after last night's excitement? This morning, the main topic is Trump was shouting and interrupting. I don't think he scored points with the on the fencers.
That is exactly what I said in my open win. I mean, it's not even so much score points with voters, but it's like I give you a couple of examples. Again, Donald Trump released a plan earlier this week that had all of these great things that he wanted to do for Black Americans, like they were going to invest in Black businesses and all of these things. Like it was something that they announced before the debate, like telegraphing, so that he had something to push during the debate, and he didn't mention it at all. And this is something that you could move voters with. This would be a good thing, right? There's this whole thing with the Joe Biden
Troubleshooters says the
plan
roast of
for
Biden's son,
suburban
cocaine,
areas,
was just epic.
right? Well, that was when the market was moving up, really was. So there is a bright spot, right? I think that the Hunter Biden issue is a much bigger problem for Joe Biden than people realize, and the media has been sleeping on this. And Donald Trump brought it up a couple of times, made a big deal out of it, seemed to resonate with his base at the very least. But
Winston's mom says before the debate, people were saying they wanted to hear the plans. They wanted to know what was being planned for the next 4 years. They expected him to be himself, but they wanted detailed plans.
Well, so, I mean, on plans. So, like, there was, for instance, the talk about healthcare, right? He didn't really get into what his new healthcare plan was. There was the talk about I was trying to think about there was another one where he talked about it. I don't know. I think that Donald Trump's plan is kind of like things are going great and we just need to continue doing what we're doing and it'll all be great. But the thing that was interesting was that I felt that Joe Biden was in what I think he screwed up big time. Joe Biden did many times. For instance, he said the Green New Deal is not my plan, but on his own website it says that he supports the Green New Deal. Like he's totally contradicted himself on multiple things. The whole law and order issue was a disaster for Biden. He contradicted his base and Bernie Sanders, who was helping him craft policy plans multiple times, but you're probably not going to hear any of that. And you could turn it into an ad, but with Donald Trump talking over it, I'm not even sure if you'd be able to get a good cut of some of Joe Biden's mistakes. I think that the point that was the worst for Joe Biden was when he said, "Oh, I have some police organizations that are supporting me." And Donald Trump says, "Okay, name one." And he said, "We don't have time for this."
Winston's mom says, I think healthcare should really be discussed. Mine is safe, but this administration is in court to remove Obamacare with no plans for a replacement or explanations. Just, after the election, talk.
Well, the thing is, Obamacare is going to have to go. I really don't think it can stick around in its current iteration. It's a disaster. Like, honestly, all of our healthcare costs went up. They did. It did nothing to control costs. I think that the Republicans very much have a plan. They just don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because I think that they'll do things to protect pre-existing conditions, but you're going to have to throw them a bone to control costs somehow, right? So I think if you're a Republican, you probably would rather just not talk about it.
Troubleshooters says Trump won the debate, except he made me doubt my own opinion by interrupting a million times. I guess that is a strategy to prevent Biden from even raising an issue.
Well, one of the things that I thought
Winston's mom says, they don't want to talk about it. We do have a vested interest in knowing who or what plan we are voting for.
Sure. But I mean, the you got to realize that when there's not a very good chance of you being able to pass anything right now anyways, it's really not in your favor to put out a very concrete plan. It's just not, because people will dislike things about it. So. No, I mean, the thing about the interruptions was that I feel like that Chris Wallace made Donald Trump's interruptions into much bigger deals than they were. So, like, if Joe Biden says wrong, or says something, if Joe Biden says something and then Donald Trump interrupts and says wrong and then lets Joe Biden continue, then, like, who cares? But then he would say wrong and then Wallace would come in, Mr. President, please, blah, 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 and then they start talking over each other because then he's like, he wants to keep, then Donald Trump keeps going because Chris Wallace interrupted, right? Here's the thing. No, all of these other debates that he was in didn't go like that. It was 100% was Wallace. And we know that Wallace does not like Donald Trump. And we know that Donald Trump specifically requested that Wallace not be a moderator. We're talking about Wallace. I mean, I said a lot about this last night, but I'll just say it again. There shouldn't be assertions in your question. You don't need to lay out color. This is not the Sunday night news. This is a debate. You ask them the most direct question you can. Try to make it not biased. try to be equal by giving them both really hard questions and then get out of the way. And each candidate is supposed to get 2 minutes to talk and then let them brawl. And you really should give them more than 2 minutes. So I thought that Wallace is almost 100% to blame for this situation. Almost 100% to blame.
Winston's mom says this morning, people were saying Wallace should use the mute button. I think Wallace was in an impossible situation, but it's the first debate and usually the first pancake is debatable. Gets thrown out.
He was not in an impossible situation. There have been really great debates with Donald Trump in them, with really great debate moderators. Chris Wallace is straight up just a poor debate moderator. I don't think that he will ever be asked to moderate a debate again. When he's done it for like the Republican candidates, I hated him when he was doing it for the, those Republican debates too. He's just a bad debate moderator because he wants to run it like he runs his interviews. Oh, we're having a conversation. Here's this thing that I've seen. There's some background color information about it for the viewers because a lot of our viewers don't really know what's going on. And then you ask a question. No! 10 seconds. It should take 10 seconds to ask a question. And it was started from the very first one. He's like, well, Mr. President, you said this, and Joe Biden, you said this, so let's talk about that. And that's the question. Let's talk about that. That's not a direct question. It's terrible, terrible moderating. Anyway, I think that I'm going to go back. I'm going to make a video explaining why Wallace was so terrible at this. Okay. But as for the mute button, this is a thing where I think people really show how little they know about the running a campaign. Okay. So when these debates happen, there's a negotiation. Okay. And candidates agree to things. Okay. In order to give the debate moderator a mute button, the campaigns have to agree to it. What campaign in their right mind would agree to allowing their candidate to have their mic cut off? It's never going to happen. That would never happen. Nobody would ever agree to it. That'd be stupid, right? So, yeah. Chris Wallace, and another issue is that here again, I didn't feel that the array filled of questions was the things that they talked about were very fair. Yeah. And then he debated with Donald Trump. It's just come on. So here's the thing. You ask a question. The candidate says, there's something wrong in your question. You're lying in your question. And then you say, well, no, I'm not. That right there, that's not allowed. You are the moderator, not a debate contestant. If the president says you lied in your question, you as a moderator just have to take it. Come on. So there's really no way to go through, and the fact that even liberals hated Chris Wallace's performance should really tell you something. Trump just has the skills to negotiate, force you out of your comfort zone, and make short, crisp, clear points. Biden is this old man with his pseudo-civilized talk that has no content beyond it. Well, you're absolutely right about that, troubleshooters. I agree. I felt like that. Joe Biden only had one point that he made well, and that was that, hey, if Donald Trump loses, then this all goes away. That I don't think that that's true. But it's a point that he's making. It's a powerful point for a certain group of people, and he made it very effectively. The rest of the debate, he was either stepping in it or saying stuff that was just straight up untrue. And there was a number of really egregious lies, I feel, that Joe Biden got away with. But here it's are they really going to hold his feet to the fire? And that's where I really believe that you'll have a better chance of predicting political outcomes if you really focus on the numbers and goals of it, right? Politics is the art of getting more people to agree with you than disagree with you. That's really what it comes down to. Okay? There's lots of different ways to do that. For instance, the Democrats, they skip that entirely by creating more people that agree with you, by importing them, right? But that's politics, okay? So the goal here for Donald Trump is there's certain demographics that are going to be up for grabs or that are more likely to come his way that he needs to get to move. And they are, in particular, black voters and white suburban moms, okay? What did he do in the debate? Your whole debate strategy should be centered around getting those people, right? Every opportunity that you have, it should be, oh, hey, by the way, Joe Biden is going to destroy the suburbs. Hey, by the way, Joe Biden doesn't care about your community. And by the way, Joe Biden is racist. That should have been the focus, in my opinion. I'm not going to say that Donald Trump had a bad debate. Like, because I can really see how if you were scoring it on the points, I think that Joe Biden made so many mistakes that you can really make a very strong argument that Donald Trump won the debate. The markets, the people that were trading the market during the debate, very clearly thought that Donald Trump was winning. I mean, they bought it up pretty strongly, right? But how did it actually help in the places where they need it? And I really don't feel like it did. And so in that respect, it just becomes a Pyrrhic victory, right? You can't afford many more victories like that. I really hope that the next debate is widely watched and still makes a difference. I'm a little concerned that because this one was so contentious, that everybody's just going to tune out and that everything is set in stone. I mean, that hasn't been the case in past elections, but given this particular situation, I can see how that could come through. Of course, there could be more bombshells along the way. Who knows? Donald Trump saying, "Oh, we have you on, we have tapes and stuff." Was there's very clearly something going on there that they still haven't said.
Winston's mom says, by the way, Trump golfed 300 days in office. Charges the Secret Service for golf carts and hotel rooms. Biden may still be trying to stay on message and going high when Trump goes low, as Michelle said.
Yeah, so let me tell you that the whole golf thing, okay, this was a stupid point, frankly, that was brought up by the Republicans when Obama was president. And so now Democrats are falling for the same thing. Listen, when Republicans attacked Obama for golfing too much, it never did anything to hurt Obama. And when Democrats have attacked Donald Trump for golfing too much, it really hasn't done anything to affect Donald Trump. I believe that it's really an ineffective strategy. Presidents golf, and they should golf. To be quite frank with you, they should golf. Listen, you got to get out, you got to get some exercise, and you can walk around and you can golf with people, and a lot of good stuff happens when you're golfing, okay? The thing that bothered me about Obama when he golfed is that he often did it alone. But, it's a business, they're going to golf, you should golf, it's fine. And you know what? Yeah, the Secret Service costs a lot of money. But, it costs money every day. That's kind of a deceptive stat that they give you, right? Well, if you count all of the amount of time that you're paying for the Secret Service while he's golfing, it costs this much. But you got to realize that every time he does anything, it costs the Secret Service a certain amount. You know what I mean? And the actual amount that gets spent in the end is really quite trivial. And it's always been a thing. It's there in the budget. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I'm really not a fan of that particular thing. Yeah.
Winston's mom says, I don't disagree that business is done after hours.
Sure.
Winston's mom says Rudy keeps pushing this Hunter issue to stay relevant.
Yeah, well, I really feel that after that debate, Joe Biden seemed incredibly uncomfortable talking about the Hunter Biden thing. He said many things about he made claims about the Hunter Biden situation that I don't think are true. So, like Donald Trump is saying that Hunter Biden received, 3.5 billion or something like that. And Joe Biden says, "No, that's not true. That's been debunked." Like, you got to do better than that. You can't just say, "No, that's been debunked." Okay. You're like, there's been multiple situations. So they've done it the other way around, right? They asked Donald Trump, how much did you pay in taxes in 2016, or was it 2016? And he said millions of dollars. And that directly contradicts what the New York Times story says. So he's just saying, "Oh, that's not true." I don't know. I think he's just to be quite frank with you, I think that the president is just straight up lying about it, and that he knows that they can't prove him wrong. You know?
Winston's mom says Trump does not have to be correct when he tosses allegations. Toss enough stuff and something sticks or muddies the waters.
Sure.
Troubleshooters says Biden's monologue on him being from the subs and his false appreciation of his son and his achievements was the beginning of the downfall.
Well, Joe Biden was definitely making mistakes. The question is just, can they capitalize on it in a way that matters? You got what I mean? Like here's the thing. Okay, yeah, Hunter Biden took money. It's really immoral, in my opinion. I really think that Joe Biden should answer for it. What Joe Biden should say is, "Yeah, my son took billions of dollars, and I'm disappointed in my son." That's what I would say. You listening, Asher? You, Asher, 20 years from now, you watching back on this stuff? Listen, you do shit like that, I'm gonna call you out. I'm not afraid to call out my own kids. Why can't Joe Biden do it? It says something about him. It does. And yeah, you're right. It could really damage Joe Biden. But what about the people that were the demographics that were actually looking to move? You know what I mean? Like, this is a debate where the lines are so entrenched. Don't know if that moves the needles. And that's where I'm saying, like, you need to have a strategy. He didn't accomplish the goals that they need for their strategy, which is make Joe Biden look old, persuade suburban voters, and persuade black and minorities. That's his plan. That's what the campaign has been doing. And then all of a sudden you get into the debate. I don't know. I'll tell you another thing I think happened, to be honest with you. I am utterly convinced, having ADHD myself, I am almost certain that Donald Trump has ADHD. When I go to my ADHD, I go to a doctor specifically for ADHD. Which, if you have a disability like that, I would really recommend, instead of just going to your regular doctor, going and talking to somebody that knows specifically about this, because you're talking about psychoactive drugs and it's a really complicated thing. You need somebody that really knows what they're talking about, right? And when I go to that office, there's a list of famous people with ADHD, and Donald Trump is at the top. It was always shown that Donald Trump had ADHD, and then he becomes president, nobody says anything about it. But it is very, very clear to me. He has ADHD. He lacks impulse control. He loses his train of thought. There was multiple instances in the debate where Donald Trump interrupted, tried to keep going because he felt like he had an important point to make, and he would get sidetracked along the way, started talking about something completely irrelevant, and never came back to the main point that he was trying to make, and so Chris Wallace moved on. That to me is ADHD. I believe that what happened was, he said, "I don't think that Donald Trump likes the ADHD medications." And so I think that what happened was, he decided that he was going to do the debate without taking his medication, because he wanted to do this whole, we're both going to take a drug test. And Joe Biden won't be able to pass the drug test because Joe Biden's got to be on some really serious I'm too old medication, you know? So I conspiracy theory, I know, but that's what I think happened. Because he was way more, his impulse control was less. His train of thought, his ability to stay on topic was less. He has ADHD and he didn't take his medication. I'm almost certain of it.
Troubleshooters says also Trump settled the war-torn Middle East in 3 years while the Dems created it.
Well, they didn't ask anything about foreign policy. Maybe that'll be in the next debate, but that's up to Wallace. You're right. The debate topics I felt were a little tilted. Mm-mm.
Winston's mom says everything I read says Trump has ADHD and abuses Adderall. I think he is an ESTP, and what we see is when his anima animus takes over, and his father had Alzheimer's. I think he is showing early signs.
I don't know about that bit. I mean, and the issue with Joe Biden, a lot of people saying that Joe Biden's, I tell you what, Joe Biden looked old. Something has happened between the first Democrat debate and now. I mean, I remember saying that Joe Biden looked old in a couple of those debates, but last night he looked awful. Like, honestly, he's so pale. He's so white. He's just looks so old. I'm really am genuinely concerned about his ability to be healthy. I really think that there's a good chance that I don't think that he will die, but I don't think that he will be able to keep up, and that Kamala Harris will become president. Like, straight up. Seems to me like that Kamala Harris is good chance that she'll become president. Like, honestly. But the thing is that, a lot of Donald Trump supporters were talking like Joe Biden was going to have a brain aneurysm on stage or something, which obviously didn't happen. Like I've said before, like Joe Biden tends to do okay in debates. He's not brilliant by any means, but he usually is still standing at the end. You know what I mean? So that might be the strat. I don't know.
Winston's mom says there was something about Biden's performance last night that bothers me, and I can't put my finger on it yet. I don't think he is cognitively declined. He is a careful speaker, former stutterer.
Well, so the thing that I kept thinking about with Joe Biden when he said things was like, wait, does he actually believe that? So I give you an example. There was this exchange that the left is picking up on. We really haven't talked about this yet. We should. Oh, Clark Kent puts the dollar sign. That's great. No, hold on. The squawk talking. Sometime today, the body language channels will upload their takes. I'll watch those and see. I'm sure that the body language for Biden's not going to look good. There was many points where his face is just like, wow. Anyways, the debate that's probably going to be the most widely talked about was when Chris Wallace asked Donald Trump to denounce white supremacists and this and that. So the whole thing was, okay, Antifa and Black Lives Matter are burning cities down, but the question is, will Donald Trump ask white supremacists and so forth to stand down? I felt like that is such an incredibly biased question. Why was Biden not asked to denounce Black Lives Matters and rioting and burning cities and stuff? I'm sure that Joe Biden would have done it, but he's been slow to do that. He's done it in the past, but he was very slow. He kind of avoids doing it. He wasn't asked to do that. But anyways, so they make it about right-wing groups. And so there's this kind of intermingling. There's two issues going on at that point, right? You got to realize one is right-wing groups agitating the situation, and the other is denouncing white supremacists. So they say, will you denounce white supremacists? And Donald Trump says, sure. Who do you want me to denounce? Okay. Everybody is on the Democrat side is out there saying Donald Trump refused to denounce white supremacists, which is ridiculous. He said, sure. Okay. So then he says, who do you want me to denounce? And Joe Biden says the Proud Boys. Okay. The Proud Boys is not a racist organization, guys. Okay. They are overly enthusiastic Donald Trump supporters that are not shy about getting into a physical confrontation when Antifa antagonizes them. Okay. There's always been, in every instance that I've seen, Antifa instigating things and causing violence and the Proud Boys just responding. If the thing is like, the Proud Boys will set up a rally and then not come to the rally. And only Antifa comes to the rally. And Antifa will riot without the Proud Boys, right? Never happened the opposite way, okay? Right? If Antifa has a rally and the Proud Boys don't show up, Antifa still rallies. The Antifa just attacks the police and attacks the city, okay? So I say that the Proud Boys, that they haven't necessarily done anything wrong. I'm always going to be against breaking the law and instigating violence and things like that. But I really don't feel that the Proud Boys are the problem in this situation. But furthermore, and more to the point, the Proud Boys has absolutely nothing to do with white supremacy, white nationalism, racism, anything like that. So Joe Biden was intentionally clouding the issue by bringing up a right-wing group that's not racist. And so then Donald Trump isn't going to denounce them for being white supremacists because they're not white supremacists. So he just said, stand down. He did what they asked him to do. But instead, the media narrative coming out of it is that Donald Trump told white supremacists to stand by. Like, oh my gosh. It's because this is just like so not what happened. Right? Man. What was it that I wanted to what was the point that I wanted to make with that though? You're saying I don't even remember. Didn't the quote say stand down and stand by? That's correct. But isn't that if you're telling your support, like, just back up for a second. Let's say the question was, let's say that Chris Wallace presented the question like this. President Trump, some people argue that some of your supporters, the Proud Boys in particular, have been instigating violence. Will you tell them to stop instigating violence? And Donald Trump says, sure, Proud Boys, stand down and stand by. Okay? Then I don't think it would have been as big of a deal. But because it was also intermingled there unfairly with the white supremacists, because they're basically saying that the Proud Boys are white supremacists, and as Uzi just pointed out, they're like the leader of that group is like a Cuban for, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. There was some point about Biden that I was trying to make there, but I completely, there's my ADHD involved, right? I just completely lost the train of thought. So it's something about how was like he's cognitively declined. Oh well, must not matter if it really won't come back to me. Oh, right. Well, now I remember. Okay, so here's the thing. Does Joe Biden believe that the Proud Boys is a white supremacist organization? Because given that he brought them up in that under that context, it seems like he does, right? And he said a number of things during that whole debate that I'm like, does like he must know that that's utterly false, right? But it seems to me like he is just not paying attention. Like he's reading the headlines and just buying what's, in the headline and not actually reading the articles and not really actually understanding what's going on. And that was the thing that I saw from Joe Biden last night. Is it looked to me like a man that really has been locked up in his basement for months and isn't really actually paying attention to what's going on out in the country. So you're saying, that there was something about him. You're saying something about his performance that bothers me, and I can't put my finger on it. I believe that what you might be picking up on is that Joe Biden just doesn't seem to understand what's going on. You get what I mean? So that was the point that I was trying to make with that. But we also had to talk about the overall situation on that one too, because that is just going to be pushed over and over and over again. Like, man. And then later on, Donald Trump told his supporters, you need to watch the polls and stuff, which is like, oof. The left is really not going to like that one. Like our Donald Trump supporters, they're all going to go vote, and then they're going to stay at the polling station all day and watch and make, I don't know what was. Donald Trump had a point there in this that about the whole voting thing that I don't really think that he really got through, and the whole thing is pretty crazy. Okay, so where are we with the market, guys? I don't know if is there any other things you guys want to say about the debate? So you kind of quieted down after that one. I just hope Trump wins or the world is fucked. Okay, well let's talk about if Donald Trump loses. Because here's the thing. First of all, if Donald Trump loses, Joe Biden will almost certainly have a Democratically led Senate and House. I don't think that he will have a filibuster-proof majority, but he will have a majority. And it's going to be problematic. At that point, will Republicans be able to effectively stop everything? Like it when Democrats try to increase taxes on everybody and all this sort of stuff? I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that. I'd be more concerned about that Joe Biden would come in and he would re-implement all of these really job-killing regulations that were implemented under the Obama administration that when Donald Trump had got rid of really helped the economy. So that's the first thing that I would expect is that if Joe Biden wins after the day that he is inaugurated, that you would probably start to see an extended sell-off similar to the extended sell-off that we saw after Obama became president because of the regulations that he's implementing. Right? I also, Joe Biden just seems really weak on law and order. So I think that I would expect to continue to see these instances come out where the cops fairly or unfairly harm a suspect that is resisting arrest, and there are riots from it. But instead of having a president that is pro law and order and everything, Joe Biden will just kind of let it go on. And so that situation will continue to escalate. And meanwhile, the Donald Trump supporters are going to completely turn off because they feel that the entire process is rigged against them. They believe that the entire process is unfair. Chris Wallace asked unfair questions, was debating with Donald Trump, all of this and that. They're going to completely turn off. It is going to be I don't care what he's doing. They're just going to hunker down in their houses, in their communities, and accumulate as much ammo as they can. And if Joe Biden comes in and tries to shut the country down again, which, man, it really sounds to me like he wants to shut the country down again. That to me should have been the biggest thing coming out of the debate. Do you believe that the United States needs to shut down again? Because Joe Biden clearly wants to do it. It's funny because he contradicted himself several times. He was saying that they shouldn't have shut it down the first time, but then I was like, what are you talking about, dude? He was trying to have it both ways there in that debate, you know? But they don't have the power to do that. So the Republican states will rebel and won't shut down. It's going to be a mess if Joe Biden wins, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a walk in the park if Donald Trump wins either, but I'm much more concerned about, like the propensity for a real confrontation or like civil war and things like that if Joe Biden wins. Exactly. Biden was confused himself. It really was. It was almost like he was reflexively countering what Donald Trump was saying and didn't even understand what Donald Trump's like. Again, like I said, it's almost like he's not been paying attention and doesn't really know what's going on. Somebody please explain to me exactly what Trump could have done. I don't get it either. They could have shut the country down a week early. Like, I don't think anybody would have done that. It was really quite an unprecedented step. And Joe Biden was kind of trying to imply that it was a mistake. And oh my gosh, I did this again. Sorry, hold on a second. Did it? Okay. Could you imagine if, amid the impeachment back in January, Trump had unilaterally shut the country down? I know, man. I didn't even think about it like that. Like the time period that they're asking him, that saying that he should have shut things down, he was being impeached. You're right. Because it was like there was impeachment, and then there was, what was it? Martin Luther King Day, and then coronavirus became a thing. And then 2 weeks later after that was when he shut things down. You're right. Which dad would voluntarily roast his son on primetime TV? That in itself is enough for me to vote. Right? I would totally do it. You listening, Asher? Don't disappoint now. I shouldn't be putting too much expectation on my son.
Winston's mom says on the Woodward tapes, Trump states clearly this virus is dangerous. He might have mobilized the government to respond, warned people to wear masks, and explained how to social distance. He did not.
I don't think that that's accurate, Win. So, first of all, at the time that we're talking about, the efficacy of masks was highly disputed. So you got to understand with the mask thing that the conventional wisdom for a long time has been that masks don't prevent the spread, because they're always talking primarily about airborne airborne viruses that are completely aerosolized, right? Which discounts that the majority of viruses are spread through spittle, essentially. Man, what's going on in the treasuries are getting hammered. Anyways, so the thing is that I think at the time the conventional wisdom in the United States was that you don't give the healthy people masks because it doesn't do anything. Well, that that conventional wisdom had been contended for a long time, and in Asia they've been wearing masks for decades now, right? And it wasn't until this came along that people in the United States started to say, okay, like now we need to talk about the mask thing because you guys are wrong about the masks. Okay, so they went through it, and the mask guys were able to make their case, and then that's when the CDC changed their mind on it. So you got to realize, like, they came in, the U.S. conventional wisdom about masks was wrong, and then it wasn't until long after the shutdowns had happened that they came in and they changed that. So that one's not going to happen. Okay, on the masks. Explained how to social distance, they did that. And I'm just saying, in those World War tapes, I feel like that is really misconstrued. Donald Trump certainly tried to not spread panic, but he didn't lie to us. He didn't say, oh yeah, like everybody should just go out and get it because it's not dangerous and this is all just. He didn't really say that. He said, here's what we got to do to beat this thing, but we're gonna get through it. And I mean, I think we did, but so we elected the politician from Jaws who wanted to keep the beaches open despite the blood in the waters. Well, but this is like a perfect example though, and like Alameda Island is dead, right? If that nobody would live there anymore. You want the whole country to just go, collapse. Yeah. There's a certain question that like, okay, like how many lives is it worth to still have a city? I guess in the case of Jaws, it's not, because maybe people shouldn't be living there. Maybe there's not a reason for people to be living there. Okay, but when it comes to the case of like the whole country, like guys, you can't just you can't just destroy the whole country off of a virus. Like there's been worse viruses in the past, okay? And we got through it. You don't have to completely destroy, have a complete collapse of the state because of this to save lives. I think that's ridiculous. The whole debate I felt was in favor of Biden. I never saw Wallace ask any tough. You're right. I don't think that he was ever really able to get to tough questions. And whenever Donald Trump started to get into the really tough stuff, Chris Wallace changed the subject. So you're right and you're wrong. Closing beaches wasn't on Trump. Closing anything wasn't on Trump. What do people not get about that states did that stuff? It's true that the state has to shut down, but the president can make the recommendation. And he did, and when he did, the states shut down. Right? And it wasn't until he did that happened. But the trouble was, at least once Wallace had Biden on the run, but Trump interrupted instead of allowing Biden to flounder. Maybe. I mean, you have to come up with better points if you want me to read them. Man whose name I can't read. Look, the way that the president responds to the crisis, I think, matters. Listen, guys, Sleepy Joe is not winning debate or no debate. So, I mean, do you have actual quantitative evidence to support that assertion? Because here's the thing. Polling doesn't look good right now. I think that polling is very unlikely to be accurate. But it's like the only data point that we have. to say that, and it doesn't, and it doesn't speak well for Donald Trump, and it's trending in the wrong direction. That was the thing that was weird, was like a week, 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump was really coming back. And it was largely because of this law and order stuff. And then all of a sudden, here today for the debate, it's completely gone again. So, I don't know. You're going to have, like, the thing is like, the polling can be wrong. The polling has to be so ridiculously wrong. I really have a hard time seeing how the polls can be that off. I really do. Donald Trump is going to need momentum going into election day in all likelihood. Because if Donald Trump wins, it's going to be because of base enthusiasm and turnout. If he doesn't have the momentum, if Donald Trump supporters are feeling like they are today, because honestly, I'm reading through there, and I think that the majority of them kind of saw that it didn't necessarily help him. If it was today, he wouldn't win. There's no way. He would need momentum. The vaccine is coming up. Well, we don't know that either, to be honest. I mean, they're sounding positive, but it's still a really big unknown if they're actually going to be able to do it. Do you think we'll ever go back to a more tepid Republican president like Bush? No, I don't. So at least not campaign wise. Like, you got to understand that the way that George Bush ran would never work again. With social media and the way the Republicans get treated now, it would never, no way. I think that you're going to get somebody like Ted Cruz. He might be, a little bit more tame in certain things, but he's still going to go after the media. He's still going to go after the left. And quite frankly, he should, because there's a lot of things that the left is pushing that are just crazy. And you pushed and pushed and pushed. At a certain point, you have to push back, Good morning, Plan B. How are you? Okay, well, we got about 30 seconds to the open. See what happens. Can get interesting volume coming in here, but overall, the overnight seems like incredibly unreliable. Let's see what they do when they come out. I think that there could be some. So one thing I'll tell you is, like, what is the market's opinion of the debate? There's certainly the overnight action. I don't think that the overnight action is the final say on it. Here during the regular session, when the majority of traders are trading, let's see, they move down and then they come back and they say, well, part of the reason that we moved down was because Donald Trump did poorly in the debate. And, there's your answer. There's a rumor that Fleming based Bond's code on an '07 bus route that he would have been familiar with when living in London's Everbury Street behind the Victoria Coach Station. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so much more mixed open than anticipated. They're coming close. I think they're going to hit me. Yeah, as buying is, yeah. Okay. Oh, that was a little odd. It's kind of, yeah, there you go. Are you leaning? I was leaning bearish, but I kind of have to question that now. I felt like everything coming over from Europe and everything, it looks bearish. Maybe some of this is recovery. It'd be watch here. because what we might get is like what we got yesterday, where they kind of break out to the upside at first, and then later they turn back down. I think that I had an okay position in trade and everything, so I'm not too down on that trade. I can see oil is doing okay today. Gold took a big jump and peaked about 30 minutes ago. This could just be another pump. Mnuchin is out there talking right now. I'd say they were getting maybe half as much cumulative delta long as we got, like, say, yesterday. So let's see. Because we also have to consider the possibility that there are some people that seem to think that Joe Biden winning would be good for the markets. So I don't think that that's what the people that took it long last night were thinking, but who knows? They are getting back into retracing that too. So the first one was at 45, and then let's say 55. Okay. We should know if the administration and Democrats have an overall understanding of the coronavirus aid package by Thursday. Oil is looking positive too, by the way. Okay, so we're getting some volume distribution in the 43 area. I'm gonna leave out an order right here. Okay. Well, that might not be the greatest entry because I'd like it to go a little bit more my way first before pulling back.
Winston's mom says 26, traders gonna trade, watching now. Stay profitable and please take a moment to hit the like button. This helps speculators' channel numbers. Thank you.
I felt like that we had a pretty important analysis going into today about how the debate can potentially impact the markets here going into the future. So I would appreciate it if you guys go and hit that like so that this video gets shown by the algorithm a bit more. I might trade terrible here, but
Winston's mom says, clip, important analysis.
there you go.
Popular no v Bulgaria says like I did.
Thank you. Okay, now that's a little better.
Plan B4 trade says thumbs up.
Oh, you know what? I need to turn on my robots. I always forget. Okay. So they're kind of testing lower, but I'm noticing that they're struggling with that 38.
Plan B4 trade says I am short S. Think this might have been the high of session.
Well, that's kind of what I'm going off of. I don't know. They've been having a real tendency to just fight me lately. So I actually like it. If I'm you see I'm here, I'm up 8 ticks, and it's slow. I'm okay with that because I've found that winners tend to come more slowly. Um but lately they've just been fighting me, you know? It'll be like, "Oh, I'll have it right," but they'll go and push the high again first before they let it happen. Let's see. There you got plenty of downside to explore if they decide to go for it. I do see some of this initial bull upswing getting uh, filled back in. So
White rationalist says market found the daily resistance last night and collapsed.
you think so? I think that what happened yesterday was that you got these traders that want to trade the debate. So they did the snap analysis in the middle of the debate. They thought that the Hunter Biden thing was great for Donald Trump. And then they took their profits. And when they all took their profits, that was a turning point on the market. Because the cumulative delta up was almost exactly equal to the cumulative delta down. And then after that, the Asian traders got involved, and there was some fairly negative sentiment and news from Asia and stuff. So I don't think that we can really definitively say that the market has spoken on the debate. Let's give them the day's session to talk about it. But if you want to see my analysis, you can just go back to the beginning of the video. Okay, so here you can see where they kind of find me.
Uzi Knesset says PMI in 5. 305,790 says, hey Seth, sorry to ask again, but wanted to get your thoughts on the politics. Both sides are becoming so polarized and extreme. Don't you think we are going down a very dangerous road? It's gotta stop.
Well, I think it kind of depends on a couple of things. One of the things is that I don't really see a real true catalyst that would push us down like the truly dangerous road. So I think you'll get I think one of the things that's happening is that social media is really influencing people's opinions and polarizing people. And part of that is also making people think that the situation is much worse than it really actually is. So I think when push comes to shove, nobody's going to do anything. If anything, I think like the worst case scenario is Donald Trump loses and the right just turns off, which I don't know if that's necessarily dangerous. Let's see. Oh yes, we got the PMI coming in here. This is the one that comes out early, so it's going to be out here in like 30 seconds, right? Keep an eye
Why
out
Trader
here.
says yes. Obama stated this fact in his last address at the State of the Union.
Can't remember if it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Source release data 85 minutes earlier than scheduled. It is 3 minutes, so it's already out. It's already out.
305,790 says, yeah, thanks. Happy trading, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, you can watch the beginning of the video if you want, like my overall debate analysis. Just probably can't go into it again at the moment, but maybe we can.
Uzi Knesset says, leaked data signals massive rebound in Chicago PMI.
Okay. So that should be factored in.
Plan B4 Trade says it's funny, as a European listen to USA PPL. You think you have a left and a right party, politics. Tears of joy.
Well, yeah. So I would push back on that one. So the thing is you guys look at right and left in terms of like what is the American policy? Because the United States doesn't have
Popular
true
no Viva
socialism.
says exactly my point.
Because the United States doesn't have true socialism, the people in Europe say, well, the United States doesn't really have a left. Okay. But in terms of philosophy, which is a focus on
Popular no V Bulgaria says where is the middle?
Focus on the individual versus collectivist policies, there is absolutely a left and a right. And the left in the United States has become very far left, ultra collectivist, even if it's not actually coming through into policy yet. And the only reason it doesn't come in through into policy is because people don't agree with it. But if you get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in there in a Democrat Senate, they're going to make collectivist policies and they're going to push us left. And they could very, very quickly, go just as far left as they have in Europe. Philosophically speaking, they're just as left. And when I say philosophically, I mean focus on the individual versus the group. Okay, so the BMI was 62, spot 4 versus
Plan B4
52.
Trade says far left, tears of joy.
So that does seem to makes sense that the BMI was released early and it's already been factored in. And that's probably part of why they've been moving up most of the morning.
RJ Wheel says that's why taxes need to be Trump's focus. People's wallets.
Yeah, he didn't really do a very good pointing out that Joe Biden wants to raise people's taxes, did he? That's where it's like, I can't say that Donald Trump lost on points, but I just don't think that the focus was where it needed to be for him to win. The heck is Brandon Bear going on about? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there might be going for 50. Wow. That's a little far. We'll wait for them to come back. We're going to flip around and go long.
Philly Beats You says I wish I saw that plummet last night lol.
I don't know. You can go back and watch the video. We were sitting here when it came back, but it really wasn't all that. It really, when you watch the Dom and you see it happen, it was really profit taking. Really wasn't all that dramatic. It was kind of like anybody that decided to hold on was like, oops. It was just traders in here. Yeah, there's a guy in Discord that everybody's really skeptical about and is running his mouth off, and he was just like really badly wrong. I tried to take the short there. I don't know if the short really made sense, but I don't know if any trade really makes sense to me anymore. I don't know. So the delta is not all long. So a collapse is still very possible here. Especially if we get something really slippery. Oh, okay. The treasuries are just getting creamed. I mean, they're getting really destroyed today. I do see the dollar actually moving a little bit higher here, though. Yeah, what has been this move in gold? What's that one's weird. I'm a little uncertain what's going on here in the macro picture. It makes sense to me that the treasuries would sell down. Look at the way that the liquidity is over there, man. Like they're putting up 8Ks. That's a weird move in the treasury.
Popular No V Bulgaria says I think USDCAD is a good buy.
Somebody out here is just like full on risk on. They're going all out risk on. It's buying up the index and they're selling the treasuries, which we haven't seen for a long time. And I mean, they're really selling the treasuries. Look at how much liquidity is there in the 10-year. There's almost 8K at every price. And they push it down another step. How far do you think that the treasury can go today? They're already pretty low. Low would be like 16.5. So they could keep going. And there's not really a whole lot buying either. I don't know about this, guys. Carl Quintilla pointing out the Venetian says White House counteroffer will be similar to Problem Solver's 1.5 trillion plan. Key point on the plan: it has an escalator clause that could allow 2 trillion if the virus persists closer to Pelosi's 2.2 trillion level. This is being was put out by Eric
Plan B4
Wasson.
Trade says has it already done its daily average range?
Nah, I think we're even close.
Plan B4 Trade says treasuries that is.
Oh. No, they're only about halfway in ZB. For the E-mini, the target is 3360. And below us, 3305, let's say 33300. Alligator thinks that this is just a mean reversion. Nope. Could have gotten 42. Not sure, it wasn't really on the ball there because I was looking for long and it kind of got to a spot where I should have taken it, and I don't know why I didn't do anything. Did push higher. It's kind of, I don't know. A lot of volume.
Vlad Stolyarov says just woke up after waking up at 5 a.m. Didn't expect them to open it higher.
Yeah, I would say that you're getting some pretty bullish action right now in the indexes.
Vlad Stolyarov says expected 3,300 under was all support. Vlad Stolyarov says this is very bullish open.
So it's still only about 2,000 contracts. So that continues to concern me. The price action certainly looks bullish though, doesn't it? Continuing to push into highs quite aggressively, I might add.
RJ Wheel says thank God now we know what to do.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if I'll be able to hold it all the way up to the target or not, but I'm just letting go. We took 2 on full stop, didn't we? Before that? Yeah. Wait, why is it not?
Vlad Stolyarov says let's short at Higer 3,357.
Oh, right. It was because my robot took one. Okay. I'm like, what? Why is it showing me loose? I've seen the treasuries like this once. I've seen the treasuries like this once.
Vlad Stolyarov says window dressing. Vlad Stolyarov says last day of month.
This was I think this was before that liquidity crisis. Like this happened when treasuries
RJ Wheel
stopped
says
bottoming.
insightful.
They started when they really kind of started to turn up. This happened, kind of didn't go anywhere, and then they turned up. I think that the treasuries could have more downside in it here. Pending home sales going to be coming in here. Okay, higher than expected. 8.8 versus an expected 3.4. You're seeing some crazy stuff happening in housing, aren't we? A lot of people moving, I guess. Okay. See, when the bulls decide to take it, it just goes.
That one didn't result in a new high, but look at how easily they slipped back up there to the high. At one spot, only 6 contracts to clear it. Oh, there you go. They almost certainly now, right? Yeah.
Vlad Stolyarov says this looked like Momo breakout. Vlad Stolyarov says after 3,335 plus. Vlad Stolyarov says I would still try to play around 57 area, maybe it dies there.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Said 60, right?
Vlad Stolyarov says nope, abort.
60.
Vlad Stolyarov says dangerous to guess on reversal if it goes over here 60 plus. Uzi Knesset says GIBSMEDA launch codes. Vlad Stolyarov says they messed with oil too for Upsty.
Look at that.
Vlad Stolyarov says AAPL over previous day so far, happy day.
Yeah. Give me the launch codes, Uzi. Good grief. That took off, didn't it? You think that they're going to make it up to the next step? They could. This would certainly be a situation where they could do it. And we're punching through significant spots on the volume profile.
Vlad Stolyarov says the 90s.
So we got 63 was yesterday's high.
Vlad Stolyarov says slightly smiling face.
Not
Vlad Stolyarov says
there.
the speed they moving. Philly Beats You says wow, last night never happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to explain it. I don't know. I don't feel like it did a good job, but
people were taking it. People were gambling on the debate, and they got their gamble, and then they got out, and the rest of it doesn't matter.
Dip was funny. Uzi Knesset says, bro, I was stopped out of ZB short at 77.06. Pause to reassess. Took me to fucking 76.17 to actually sell the fucker and just got out at 08. Vlad Stolyarov says gamblers got smoked who stayed.
I remember that I was saying 16.5 in ZN. Like we totally could have just kept selling it. And look, you're really not getting a lot pushing back into it. You're really not in the 10-year. It is just they're selling the shit out of this. That is some insane liquidity. Look at this. 9K on every side. Something significant is happening here. And it appears to me to be extremely bullish. I'm not 100% sure why. I suspect that it is largely because of the Chicago PMI and pending home sales that we just had. That, and there's probably still some things being oversold.
Vlad Stolyarov says Munition and his stimulus news on CNBC pump.
Okay, yeah, there was Munition. Is good point, Vlad. Like, we had a lot of reasons to be bearish coming into the day, but it's changed. It's flipped on its head without question, right? I really should have flipped faster. That first one wasn't good. Or sorry, that second one didn't really need to happen. It actually wasn't a bad trade. I mean, I got 12 ticks out of it, but yeah. And the thing is, they so that was a stop out right there, for sure. That was the options was bailing out early after the first fixed target. But we haven't reached the given the situation. I really think that target 2 is a real possibility. Target 2 is a real possibility. And what is it? It's 32.85.
Greg Davis says bank news claim the banks are in good shape. Plan B4 Trade says I got toasted, so no more trading for me. Have no plan for this scenario.
Well, I'm expecting it to come back a bit, and then, oh man, I don't like where it has to come back to, though. I don't know.
Block sell.
The treasuries are just insane.
Popular No V Bulgaria says simple strategy, buy and hold.
10-year shaking her booty. What was that? That was a 10-year.
Vlad Stolyarov says hey, holding TSLA would have worked all the time so far. Vlad Stolyarov says 433 soon.
There's the E-mini is looking to push them again. Look at the VOT 10-year is just getting creamed.
Vlad Stolyarov says anytime Musk stock says my stock overvalued.
Are they up? Oh, 43, 433. That thing. I don't know if reality is ever going to come to Tesla.
Vlad Stolyarov says that's what pushing us to.
One thing I'm a little cautious about is that I think some of this might be on stimulus, but I think the thing that I'm having a hard time squaring away in my head is the move in the treasuries. Like the move that I'm seeing in the treasuries looks extremely significant and extremely risk off. And over the longer term, I really don't see how that could be the case. You know, um, I'm not so sure they can hold that one. And why would they put on that much liquidity for a 1 day move? Is beyond me. Somebody's coming in and doing something crazy. I'm wondering if this is Goldman coming in. Wait,
Vlad
was it
Stolyarov says
Goldman?
AAPL was let lose 116.25.
Remember them? There was people saying that if Joe Biden were to win, that the treasuries would take a dump. Is that what's really going on here? Is that is a bank coming in and saying? I'm a little concerned, guys. The way the treasury is moving that aggressively, they are just getting decimated. Now the 30-year has reached kind of more like an average daily range. But the way that it's trading, there might not be any limit to how low they can go. And you're still just not seeing a whole lot coming in. I mean, this is like no joke, 50,000 contracts sold net.
Philly beats you, says the wow.
Yeah. I'm
Vlad
starting to think
Stolyarov
about
says
it
traders
more.
want to trade today.
I'm starting to think about it more, and I'm thinking, are they selling the treasuries because they're anticipating a Biden win? It's not good.
Philly beats you, says bulls are nuts.
And if that's really what's going on, then these guys over here in equities are clueless.
Philly Beats You says looks like S is fight around 3,360. Vlad Stolyarov says yeah, try shorting it. Vlad Stolyarov says they painting cup and handle. Vlad Stolyarov says could rip faces off shorts. Philly Beats You says right when I short the Bulls strike disappointed. Vlad Stolyarov says AAPL wouldn't be this high normally.
It's going again.
Vlad Stolyarov says I rather go long now, stop watt'll be 55 under.
What do you think?
Vlad Stolyarov says maybe 48 depending on size. Vlad Stolyarov says they shall'll just keep going up from 60. Vlad Stolyarov says it's super extended too.
Um,
Vlad Stolyarov says but volumes didn't die yet.
it's kind of on the line. It's actually not that bad.
Philly Beats You says next play prop gonna be in the 339 S.
So it is in the spot right now where like it's shortable, but because you're getting so much momentum and everything, my own calculation is going to have trouble dealing with the number of stops that are coming in. So that might mean that it's even better than it seems. So I have the zone being like right here where we're at around 57. So
Gorilla Digits says good risk reward short though.
I'm not really feeling the short here. They're kind of on the edge of like it's overextended, but because it is a trend day, I don't think that that's really a high probability play trade unless you're taking it for a really small winner, you know. But like the idea that like this is the top and it's going to completely reverse and come back down,
Vlad Stolyarov says yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not that's not going to happen, but I would. That's a dangerous play. I have to be careful about what I say because I can't be
Vlad
giving
Stolyarov
you like
says
advice.
let the robots
but,
decide battle here.
Yeah, I can't be giving you advice like saying I would advise against shorting it here. But I'm just telling you what you're seeing today is something that you might see once every 4 years. I've had to have hit into it. Which kind of makes it interesting why there's so much liquidity on there, you know? Like, is that just happening because, like, a bank comes out and says, okay, well, in order to trade this, we need to be able to put out 1,000 contracts at each price. And so they all come in and they're adding 1,000 and then it ends up being 8, even though they don't actually plan on executing all that or something like that. I don't know. This, I want to reiterate,
what I'm seeing in the 10-year, I've seen once. And that was a major turning point in the treasuries. So it lasted for like a week. Things kind of calmed down. We're like, what
Greg
the heck
Davis
is that?
says
And then
there is
it
room
started
for
going
S
up.
to reach up as high as 3,500 in the next few days to get back to early September's high.
Well, I don't know about that. So I see the next step up at
Uzi
33.85.
Knesset says shit thick like molasses.
You're going to see 33.85 and probably going to see a pretty ugly stop out because I think that you're getting some options are going real. You're getting a real gamma dump here. Going the opposite way, which some of the quants were kind of predicting.
Uzi Knesset says this is what we call a good content for Seth. Day LMAO.
Right. Even if I trade it badly, luckily I was able to turn around at one point and now we're doing okay. But this is going to be a good video. Make sure you hit that like button, man. It is, like you said, thick like molasses, man. I think of it as like she's really shaking her booty.
Philly Beats You says good thumbnail for this one lol.
But a good thumbnail, I don't know what I would put. I really need to. I'm kind of getting to the point now where I I'm not quite there. I need another step up, and I could afford to pay somebody minimum wage for 3 hours. I really want to bring somebody else on board that would pick highlights and make thumbnails, because I feel like the better thumbnails and titles and stuff could make the channel a lot better.
07 James Bond says gold is going up.
Is it? Well, it's coming back up. Now, the gold move is also interesting, too. Why did it move up and come back so hard?
Philly Beats You says I am Twitch streamer and YouTuber full-time lol.
I wish. Are you joking about people that are full-time streamers? Or do you actually stream that much?
Philly Beats You says but Latlet into trading.
Oh, okay. So you are. No, I am. Okay. What do you stream?
Says, no, I am.
What do you
Greg
stream
Davis
then?
says stop hunting in gold.
What is it that you stream and do in YouTube? Interested? I don't get the opportunity to talk to very serious creators very often, so I'm interested in what you do in Nintendo games. Okay.
Philly Beats You says Nintendo games mostly.
The challenge that I feel like I have, because there's some other guys that have much more successful channels than me and haven't been around at nearly as long.
Philly Beats You says more than YouTube.
Yeah.
Philly Beats You says Twitch paid a lot of bills.
Oh, I bet. So let me tell you how I did this. I was like restreaming to both at the beginning. And what would happen is I would get all of these people would come in and discover me through YouTube, and nobody from Twitch would stick around. And the people that did come in on Twitch, I always annoyed me. Like, it's just a different, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just there's a different culture over there on Twitch, and I'm a super serious guy, So I was just fed up with it, and I said, okay, nobody's coming in on Twitch anyway, so I'm going to come over to YouTube. The funny thing is that there's so many things that you can take advantage of as a creator over on Twitch. Like it as far as I can tell, if you really got a good channel going, it's actually quite a bit easier to make money on Twitch, whereas on YouTube, you really got to do it like, with the advertising and stuff, and you got to build up a pretty big channel. So sometimes I think, oh, should I do it on Twitch? But then to do it on Twitch, I would have to, I would have to just only stream on Twitch, which would then hurt the YouTube channel. And then the YouTube channel is where the real potential is. So it's kind of like, But then here on the YouTube, it's like the people that I see that are successful, what they do is they'll be like, oh, I made X $1,000 today. And then, you know what I mean? And I'm just not going to clickbait like that. I think that it would be detrimental to the people that were trying to attract to the channel, and I think it would be a negative thing for the channel. You'd get a bad audience then at that point. So I don't want to do that, but I do think that if I had better thumbnails and somebody was able to spend the time and create highlight videos and stuff like that, that it would help. So Hi Seth, is the wire thing real with Biden? I keep arguing with my old man. He's a massive Trump fan. I've seen the video, but where's the earpiece? I don't know. They refused. They refused to check his ear, right? They refused. They refused to let them check his ear. So YouTube videos with I'm live on Twitch at this time, etc. Yeah. I'm sure that if we moved over to Twitch, that they would all just come over. Like this, the thing is that my audience is so consistent. You guys are so great. They're here every day. Number of viewers is almost exactly the same. It's the same guys that I see. They're great traders. A lot of them are way better traders than me. Okay, thanks. I'll look more into it. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but interesting. For sure. Trading is niche. And that's the thing. I've done really, really well with the YouTube channel overall and in search in particular. So we just have to continue building it. And we are starting to get to the point where I probably need to start branch out and talk about more general finance things instead of just day trading. But I'm so focused on getting better at day trading that it's kind of hard to focus on anything else, you know? That's why I would really like to have other people involved in the channel. But what I need is the hard thing is finding it, not just paying for an editor, but finding an editor that understands enough about what's going on to even be able to make the right decisions, you know? Hard. If this whole thing dumps here, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, we're going to get the oil inventories here. The thing is again, what I'm seeing screams trend day to me. So where are we going? Probably second fixed target, which is going to be up at 32.85. Yeah, finding editors is a real challenge, right? I mean, there's a guy, he lives in Utah, and he's a creator, Harris Heller. So I like to watch him primarily because he's here in Utah, and I'm thinking, well, at some point, I bet you I'll probably run into him. So it'd be nice. I like him; he's a nice guy. And he when his channel took off, he took all the money that he was making from it and gave it to his editor. And it was a great decision. It's a great decision for him. Harris is, here's the oil inventories. It's a draw. That should be good for oil, right? And they're not really moving quite yet, though. Yeah, anyways, so I think I would like to do something like that at some point. But I don't know if I'm going to get it through the YouTube channel all of a sudden getting 100,000 subscribers, right? But we are working on, I got some really great indicators here in Ninja Trading. I have a lot of things that I really feel like, how will you trade without these things, you know? So we're going to make those available to you and use that to get more people to join the channel for a membership. If you're using some of his methods, got Twitch partner in less than a year. See, I bet you that if I didn't do it on YouTube and I just only gone Twitch, that I probably could have gotten there too. But you are super interesting to watch, so your takes would be good supplemental.
Block cell.
I mean, I think so. Sometimes my content is just really awful, especially if I'm having a bad day. But I think today would be a great video. Today, I think is the thing that's cool about. So this is another thing that's really interesting. that I've discovered is that you want to treat a YouTube live stream just like a regular video. So I have like my little intro so that people kind of get an idea of what the channel is about. And then I need to immediately go into stuff that they're interested in. So, okay, what is the setup for the day? And then what was the debate analysis? And it goes straight into that. So anybody that's coming back and watching and is interested in hearing the debate analysis, they'll get that part at least. And then hopefully they're interested enough that they keep watching the video. And then you end up with this like ridiculously high watch time. It's really crazy. But like people watch these afterwards. Which, you know, like when I go to Twitch, I don't want to watch somebody stream on replay. That's stupid. But people watch so many people watch these on replay. It's crazy. Like half the audience or something like that. We get hundreds of views on replay. Isn't there a room for politics other than the equities room? YouTube Live is powerful, yeah. So I did a collab with a buddy, and it was a live stream on YouTube, and because of the amount of people that kept watching it, it went to trending. Oh, really? That's cool. Well, if you have any recommendations, I'm all ears. I try, you know, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that I could just do just in the way that I present and handle this. You know, if I was more crazy all the time and yelled a bunch, I'm sure that people would love it, but it's okay. The thing that's cool about our community is it doesn't have to be big. You know, I don't necessarily want to be like massive. Like I look at the big guys in the finance space on YouTube. I don't think we actually want to be that popular. That would actually be problematic to what we're trying to do. So, end of month surprise squeeze in ZN. Well, you bring up an interesting point, Octavius. Treasuries usually buy at the end of the month, and they are getting creamed today. Analyzing and watching the debate is definitely content. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make a video about Mike Wallace because I've done this before, and it's been fairly successful. It doesn't really help the channel overall because the people with politics, they don't stick around, and they're not. But I think I'm good at it, so I think I will do it because I really think people are like, you know, Donald Trump was just so antagonistic last night. Well, he was, but Wallace was a particularly bad moderator, and you can really show that going back through the replay. Just how he frames his questions and everything is just awful. What do you think about JP Morgan treasury fraud? I don't hear about a treasury fraud. Are you talking about the spoofing thing? I think you're just talking about that they have to pay $920 million to resolve illegal trading cases. I think moderators need a mute button for each candidate. Yeah, that's never going to happen. Because the candidates agree on base rules and stuff for the debate, right? Like they say this topic can't come up or whatever the deal is. You get 2 minutes each to speak. That these are there's a pre-debate negotiation. So no campaign in their right mind would ever say, okay, you can cut the mics off. That would never be allowed. So it'll never happen. Oh, PRT one. I thought it was Treasury. No. It was actually gold. It was the metals markets is what they were spoofing.
I got a headache last night during that debate, and General Joe kept looking in my eyes to tell me BS, and Trump kept interrupting. By the end of the debate, if you go watch, because I streamed that too, you can see I was just kind of starting to get like, I just wanted it to be over. Yeah. You can tell when you go and you look at the way that the different groups are responding and things like that. It seems to me that the Donald Trump supporters are accepting that it wasn't the performance that Donald Trump really needed. I can see that. I go on their forum and I read about it. I feel like that people on the left are saying a lot of things about that debate that just seem like crazy, but the guys on the right understand that they didn't really accomplish anything. So, Vlad, what does weak bonds mean? Higher prices in stocks. TLT is dead. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is important, Vlad. So let me try and go through this again. Okay. Treasuries move primarily based on expectations of future Federal Reserve policy. In this case, it's twofold. It's not just interest rates, but also purchases. Okay. So this is the main thing that's going to change that dynamic is how strong the stock market looks in general right now, what the liquidity looks like, because if there's liquidity gets more, then the treasury comes and buys things and infuses cash, and inflation, because if inflation gets too high, then they have to raise interest rates, right? So there has been a long-going theory, kind of debate amongst the main Wall Street analysts about how the markets will react to the election. And many people rightly pointing out that if Joe Biden wins, that will mean higher taxes for everybody and it will be generally negative for the stock market. So when you watched in the debate last night, Donald Trump attacking Joe Biden on the Russia thing, the Ukraine thing, the market seemed to like that. There was a move. It was a small move. It could have just been like one or two traders actually creating that move, but it was there. Okay. That comes out. But there's there's been this theory that also that the treasuries will sell if Joe Biden wins, because Joe Biden is planning on taxing people and then adding all of these programs. So it's going to really put pressure on the US balance sheet, essentially, meaning that investors are going to ask more for a better interest rate for the treasuries because they feel that they are taking on more risk with a government that is high in debt, essentially, right? So the theory has been treasuries will buy because of that, which is a different dynamic than the economy is going well. So right now what you're getting is the standard correlation. Equities move up, treasuries move down. But the treasuries are moving down like crazy insane. And there's this huge liquidity. And it makes me think, hey, is this a trade where they think that Joe Biden is going to win? Is that what's really coming through now? Last night, the guys thought Donald Trump did well. That came out, and now the big institutions are coming in, and the big institutions are saying, we're going to sell the treasuries because we think Joe Biden's going to win. If that is the case, I'm really, really concerned, because that means that we're not seeing a true risk-off move all the way. They're trying to price in Biden winning, and that's actually negative for stocks in the long run. And so the interest rate over in the treasuries could actually become a significant issue if this continues. And the guys over in the equities are clueless. But for today, it doesn't really matter because you got this options business going on. Like that move that they had up there, that was panic. That was panic, right? So this is why I'm a little concerned about what I'm seeing in the treasury. And you will almost never see the treasury this thick. This is insane liquidity. Putting 10K up at some spots. 9K at most prices. It's a lot. So,
That's what it means. What does weak bonds mean? Higher prices in stocks? Not necessarily. It could just be risk off overall, which would be great, but it could also be a larger bet that's not actually good for equities. Samuel says, I really like the channel and videos you post, but every time you visit live, you're talking politics. Is this a trading channel or a political channel? Well, it's both, Samuel, because here's the thing. What matters the most to the market right now? The politics. It really does. You can't separate the two of them. They're one and the same right now. The market is moving primarily based off of what they think is going to happen at the federal government level, who they think is going to be president, and what they think the Federal Reserve is going to do, and what stimulus package gets passed by the Senate. How can you trade? I think that people will have this idea that I should be able to just see the data come from the market and make all of my decisions off of that. And I'm sorry, but I just don't believe that that's true. You really have to understand the context, and you want to understand as well as you can why people are making the trades that they are in order for you to make the right decisions. And so we have to talk about politics. And I always, of course, I have my own opinion, and I definitely play into that as well. But I really am trying to give you an idea of, like, what is the analysis of the politics so that you can do it on your own, Because I don't want you to just rely on me for your political analysis. That wouldn't help you a whole lot, would it? We tend to talk politics during slow trading days and around the election. Last night was the debate, so that's interesting. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is that if you really just want to talk price, it really is in the Discord. That's where most of what they do is. They were talking a little bit about the election there in Discord, but my favorite part was topic the economy. Trump brought back football. Well, that was like one of the best examples of where, like, Donald Trump really went off the rails. I felt, I was like, why was he talking about? It's talking about football now. Like, what? Don't get it. I don't think that his point was the real important point that he wanted to make was that he brought back football. I think that if you let him talk for 5 minutes, maybe he would have gotten into something that would have been more helpful to him, Let's check Twitter here real quickly. Does look like the oil did move up off of that report, but only tepidly. E-mini had like a really wild stop run up there and then came back. Let's see what they do. The treasuries are coming back a bit. I don't know, like 2-3 ticks. Is that significant? I don't know. Usually it is in the treasuries, but today maybe it doesn't matter. I think Trump wanted to go for Biden's mental state, to be honest, and did a poor job at it. Maybe. If you really wanted to go for Biden's mental state, I think that you would want to get Biden to be as unengaged as possible. So you wouldn't necessarily really want to attack him. I think that you would want to throw a really difficult issue out at him and then just let him stumble on it. You wouldn't want to interrupt. I also don't think like, oh, you just lost the left. I don't think you want to point that one out. Because then you get the reverse psychology aspect where they will ignore it because Donald Trump pointed it out. You should just let that be the thing. I don't know. The left already hates Biden. Biden looks old. I agree. It really stood out to me when he came on stage how old Biden looks. And it's not just that he looks old, like he looks like he's getting more frail. It's like, how is he gonna? I think he could survive 4 years, but I don't know about beyond that. I don't think either of them wanted to lose the far left or the far right last night. Probably true.
that whole thing with telling the Proud Boys to stand off and stand by was really a bizarre thing to say. He was kind of saying, I like the Proud Boys, but yeah, they do need to cut it out. I do appreciate you addressing your comments. When I came in yesterday and today, the convo was a little in the weeds about topics, a little departed from those that would have an impact on the market. Yeah, well, yesterday I had to deal with. We had somebody that had been really active in our chat, but wasn't really helping, and he kind of started to say he was getting a little too far. So I had to. I hope he doesn't take it personally, but it was being too distracting to the stream, and I had to get rid of him. Now they are deciding if they keep the horse loose or not. Oh, thanks, Sam. I have to say, I don't think that I'm like anybody special or anything. Or certainly, I have a different approach to things than most people. My brain works a little bit differently from most people. But I'm always just like amazed. Like, it doesn't surprise me that you can get people to view a stream because like there's people all over this place doing crazy things on the internet, and my kids watch the dumbest things on YouTube. But what continues to impress me, and the thing that keeps me going, is that you guys are here every day. It's like this is a part of your routine. Is you wake up, you come into trade, you turn on my stream. That is the greatest compliment that I think anybody could ever give, because that is you're giving a lot of time to a creator. I I really don't, not so sure if I'm deserving, but I'm really glad that you guys do it. And we have an amazing channel. We really do. Yeah, I was talking about Celine. Don't cry. I just love you guys so much. No, it really is. Like, here's the thing is that I was trying to talk about this a little bit yesterday. I don't know if I did a good job, but there's this real conundrum in day trading, because if you share all of your secrets, then your entire edge is based off of information that you have that not everybody else has, then you're basically giving away your edge, right? But at the same time, if everybody just keeps everything to themselves, how are you going to be successful? Because I guarantee you, these guys that they trade, at the banks for a living, they have access to a lot of information. They really know what's going on. They really know their stuff, and it's really hard for anybody in retail to really compete with that. You're not going to do it on your own, and I really feel that the success that I've had, even though I blow up from time to time too, and not, there's some, like I am the biggest barrier right now, but because I have you guys, a lot of the success that we've had has been because of you guys. And I think that that's why this channel works, because I'm not trying to give you my edge. I'm not saying, I already got it figured out, you just have to do what I tell you to do and you'll be successful. No, instead it's a collaboration where we're collectively all working together to try and create an edge. And you'll always have to be that, because the market will change and we'll have to work together. That's why it works. That's why people keep coming back. That's why people keep coming back. And it works. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing that I understood, and that we've had success. And the rest has been 100% you guys. Exactly, you share, but keep it among friends. Sure. And you want to develop edges that are beyond just information. That's why I like to make the programming videos, so that you guys know how to program, and you can test things yourself and make your own robots. And then you guys need help with it, you come and ask me and you show me their strats, and then I can see how that's how I know so much about, when people come in and they claim to be profitable, I can just ask them a few questions about it, and I can almost already know what it is that they're doing or how it's going to perform, because you guys have shown me so many strategies.
You have to improve your edge constantly. Exactly. Because it's competitive. That's the, I don't know. Like, how do you market that? You know, it's really easy to market, hey, just buy this course and you can be a millionaire too. But how do you market, hey, this is really freaking hard and it requires constant work and it's a competitive thing. And together we work to refine our competitive edge and keep up with the market. How do you market? That's hard to market, you know? I have an idea. I have a video I want to make about it, but I don't know if I'm ready to make it. First day chatting here. You guys are sharp. Is it? Oh, well, maybe I'm thinking we had another guy that was named Greg. Oh man, we had this one guy. I don't know if he's around anymore, but there was a one guy. He had been trading for decades, and he said he was doing okay, and I really liked the guy. He was an older gentleman, and when it was the trade war, man, that trade war just destroyed that guy. Because you'd have like a great trade, and then all of a sudden, some trade war news would come out of nowhere and dash it. You know, sharp cheese. What? Uh, they're still talking about Elon Musk says he won't get COVID vaccine on Twitter. That's weird. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin said if Oracle's deal for TikTok cannot be closed with terms that meet U.S. security requirements, including holding code in the United States, the short video app will be shut down. Do you see, though, that they made that judgment? They wanted to ban it from the App Store, and the judge said that they don't have the authority to do that. I was like, oh, I kind of think they can. But too many gins last I'm sure that, I don't drink, but I'm wouldn't be surprised if there a lot of people had wished that they were drinking last night instead of. It was a crazy debate. I gotta tell you, like, debates are hard on you. Debates are hard on people. Just watching it. Because you have your biases and it's kind of nerve-wracking. You know that at any moment your candidate could say something stupid. And meanwhile, you have to listen to the other candidate and it's just so antagonistic and it makes you mad. It's stressful. It really is. I mean, I love it, but we couldn't do it every day. Those Democrat debates, oh my gosh, kill me. They're so bad. Like the first one, like I had fun, but then the longer it went on, the more I was just, this is so bad, guys. Okay, so they're kind of turning into a really solid curve here. But they're still just kind of pushing the stop out line. There's probably still another really solid leg up into the 80 range, but I don't know. It might not happen until long after we're gone. NQ starting to build something here. I mean, they've had a number of good runs up, but it looks like what's happening is they have to the buyers have to push it up and see if they get people to stop out, and it just hasn't happened yet. I would expect though, like on a day like today, the thing that tends to happen though is that the number of people that realize what's going on and then decide that they have to participate in the markets, like it never ends. I've been watching U.S. elections since my university days. My favorite from Canada. Yeah, well, I got into it when Mitt Romney was running that first time in, what was it, 2008? And I've just been hyper into it ever since. I've been really crazy into politics from the beginning, though. Like, I've been reading Politico. I don't read it as much anymore. They're not as good as they used to be, but I remember in the early days of Politico, could not get enough of that. Could not get enough of that thing. When they had like these bloggers live blogging everything that was happening on Obama and McCain's campaigns and stuff, and then you'd see what happened, and then you see the way that the media was reacting to it, and it was always like a complete lie.
That's how I got started. Oh, Rob Farley, thank you so much. Now you can use the Seth Panic emoji, which is everybody's favorite emoji. It may help to treat the debates like a comedic sitcom. Yeah, maybe. And don't be shy. By the way, you should be able to get, if you guys join, you should be able to get access to our special channels in Discord. So, and I am gonna have some more stuff coming. So you're gonna be, I got a website going and some indicators and stuff. So it's a little teddy bear. See, you got it's $1 a month, guys, and you can use all these beautiful emojis. Look, you got the rainbow bear, rainbow bear. It's YouTube. We have to be proper. And the Seth Panic. The Seth Panic is the best. The Seth Panic. I love it. No demonic emojis here. Bro, that guy is no good to us. Do I need a demonic emoji? You need the horns one. Remember the whole thing about like you gotta, what was it? You have to go like this or like this, and that means to the Illuminati that you're ready for fame. I've been trying. I guess I'm not ready for fame. Or like this, like this. That's supposed to be like you're ready for fame. Like all of the Illuminati drones that's been like brainwashed into it. Oh, Ron Varley says long time listener, first time caller. I got you. Okay. I wonder because YouTube gives pretty good stats about like when your viewers are online and like what their demographics are. You can tell like there's one woman in the age of 40 to 60 that watches every day, and I think y'all know who it is, right? So thank you for revealing yourself, Rob. I appreciate it. Is that a good stream? I'm feeling really good today. I'm still a little down about the absolutely terrible. The past 2 Mondays that we've had have been absolutely terrible, haven't they? But it's okay. We will move on. Always, sometimes shit will happen, I guess. So they're still trading in this range. It looks really balanced. I'm concerned that they're gonna want to have to come back a little bit before they make another push up, and I'm not quite sure how to get out of this. Really would have liked like when it went up there the highest, that would have been great. I guess if they were to break a new high like they're 100, wouldn't be crazy. But maybe I should just hold it and wait for VIX target too. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. He can't stay away. It's okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. It was interesting. I really thought that it was already banned. I don't know. Oh, whatever. At least we have football. Right. The funny thing is, what do you think he was going with that? I think he was going to say that, even though I hate what football is doing, I made sure that we got football. I think that's what he was trying to say. But that was quite perplexing that that's what he decided to go into. I brought football back. Okay, Trump, like, man, he was so unfocused, I thought. Okay, now you're getting a little bit of the sell.
I still see 53 here. So this is a little bit better. There you go. Probably you're going to see a couple of tests of this range. Like, I think it might fall out, come back in, and then have a deeper fallout, and then maybe actually eventually go higher. 11 a.m. brings some pullback. Yeah, normally, well, this whole flat area has been the counter trend period. Normally, we would have like pushed up further though by now. So there's a big order just showed up at 33.58. Almost that entire order was one limit order, actually. Mm. Oh, that reminds me also because where I was saying like first time colors, something that I want to do, but I think we need to give it a little bit more time to let some of the things that we're doing develop. But I would really like to have like a subscriber only voice chat session. You know what I mean? So where you guys could get on into Discord with the voice chat on me. And I would really like to hear from you guys. It would be like a great opportunity for you guys to expand more into what you want to share. I think that'd be really, really fun because I could do so much talking. I would hope if you ever meet me in person and I start talking too much, like you should be talking because you know so much about me. You guys know so much about me, and I don't know nearly enough about you guys. Teach lessons, yeah. It would be great. It could be like a weekend thing maybe. Or we could do it on one of the holidays when we're not actively trading. But I'm a little worried about like trolls and things like that. So I think that we would kind of want to let our subscriber join base build up a little bit first. Make pay. Well, what I would like to do is, we have a couple of indicators that I want to make available to you guys, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a subscription fee. Because I was thinking about it and I was like, well, if I make this thing available, I should charge $100, $200 for it. But then I'm thinking, well, you know, a lot of people, what they do is they want to take as much from you up front as possible. Like some of these guys that are selling, $1,000 indicators, they're doing that because they want to get as much money from you right up front before you realize what's going on, is really what their scheme is. But I want you to keep coming back. So that's why I think it makes sense to do it with a subscriber model. And I don't think that $10 a month is unreasonable because a lot of people are already paying $10 a month on Patreons and Twitches and things like that. And you're going to get indicators that, like, I'm going to give you the dollar index one and stuff like that, right? So you use stuff that I think can be really, really useful to your trading. So that's what I want to do. I'm a little nervous about it because, I don't know how people will react. But so we're kind of putting out what do we call them? Kind of testing it out. See what you guys think. PRT says sign me up. All right. Well, it's coming. It should be coming soon. I was setting up a website about it. Actually, you guys want to see the website? You can see the website. It doesn't, that the website doesn't like work yet, but I got a website up. Oh my god, got some issues with one of the images. I gotta fix that. And I've been having problems with these pictures because if I like make it wider, you can see that it actually like shows more of that image. And then it kind of like there's a point at which it crops the images. So when you're watching it, this one down here, see it's cutting off the edge. Unless I make it like really, really big. How big do I have to make it for it to not cut off the edge? So I don't know what to do about that. Maybe I just need to resize the images, but it looks like it's doing it correctly this way. It's just this way. I guess what I could do is I could print screen on that. I could just make it the right size and redo them all. Anyways. But you can look at it. So here's what I'm planning on including. So you get the inventory count spaces. Indicates whether buyers or sellers are in control of the market by estimating average buyer and seller positions. Stop a zone is also estimated by simulating market maker behavior to determine where the market is likely to run out of market maker positions to stop out. I think I need to describe that a little bit more. To determine how want to determine how many contracts they have on. It's really what it's about, right? I think I need to change that. How should we change that? We got about 30 minutes. We can do this. To determine how many contracts they have on. To estimate the number of open positions and where. Okay, I don't think we need to say anywhere because we already said it. Stop out zone is also estimated by simulating market maker behavior to estimate the number of open positions. Okay. That's what it's all about. And do you have the hokey pokey and you turn yourself about? It's much easier to just hit the like button because that's where it's all about here on YouTube. That's funny. That's funny.
Winston's mom says, that's what it's all about, and you do the hokey
We're gonna have her read
pokey,
it.
and you turn yourself about. It's much easier to just hit the like button because that's what it is all about here on YouTube. Thanks.
Largest resting orders shows the size of limit orders placed during the time period to indicate the presence of institutional players in the markets. Level 2 changes shows the total number of level 2 changes during the time period as a leading indicator of volume. Filters can help show the relative activity level of different types of market players as well as indicate stacking and pulling. Resting orders shows imbalance between buy and sell resting orders by comparing the cumulative depth of each side. Attempts to filter out quote stuffing and spoofing by comparing new orders placed versus orders that do not move to indicate which side is more interested in getting filled. Level 2 tape. Similar to a traditional volume tape, but shows individual level 2 changes, includes filters and sound alerts to help traders more quickly notice significant changes on the depth of market. Spread and spread candles start spreads for use in treasury markets or calendar spreading. Spreads automatically roll over when the main instrument changes expiry. I also want to change, I need to add another feature to this one so for the candles so that the candles are 100% accurate when live. I think we can add that. That would be useful. Synthetic dollar index synthetically calculates the dollar index by using FX futures for the calculation essential component for trying to account for dollar strength and foreign currency impacts on commodities. And you get the volatility projected range for NinjaTrader 8 shows a projected range for the day based on the opening level. The VIX indicates key levels where realized volatility is outpacing implied volatility, which impacts option market makers. And then you'll be able to do like 2-week free trial, and then afterwards it requires a $10 subscription. So that's what we're planning on putting together. It's not ready yet, though. Still working out a couple of things. We've got the things down on the bottom. What do you think? Anything about that you think I should change? You have any? But you can go and you can see it at speculatorseth.com. So if you guys have any thoughts about the descriptions, or there are things you remember that you'd like to have, then let me know. Oh yeah, Analytica was asking me here about, let's see here. He wanted an outside bar indicator. Indicators. Oh, what was it? Like outside bar or something like that? It's that one. Netflix 500. Octavia says Sierra charts ? I definitely will look into it, but right now it's Ninja Trader 8. I'd love to make them for Jigsaw too if they ever allow people access into their code base, but my understanding is that they are insistent that will never happen. So okay, because the thing is a lot of what I'm doing, there are things that are similar to it in Jigsaw, but they just never quite had the flexibility I felt to really truly be useful. I need like a bigger water bottle. The UK reporting their coronavirus numbers. They're up at the top of that range. Think they'll make a new high? I think I should cancel that now. If that was all the pullback that there was, then holy crap, today is like a crazy day. Holy crap, today is a crazy day if they go up again. Gold is trading well. It's back up there at 1900. I felt that the drop below 1900 overnight seemed a little random and perhaps unjustified to me. Gold moving up the way that it is now is a little. Let me put it this way. I think that a Joe Biden win is a positive for gold. I think that a Joe Biden win is positive for gold, negative for treasuries, and mixed, but ultimately negative for equities. So what I would expect to see is treasuries selling today, gold buying today, and then equities buying and then later falling. They'll trade all up today, and then a couple of days later they might fall down as they realize that Joe Biden's tax plan is like insane. But we'll see. That might not actually be what's going on. Cool. It might not actually be what's going on. Let's see here. Jigsaw has a video or a blog about their charts. When we produce depth in cells, I promised myself it would be for analysis only, not a trade execution tool, which is the exact wrong way to do it. It's really the execution is the most useful part of it, not the analysis. After making it a trade execution tool, I promised myself we'd never create a standalone platform, which they did. After creating a standalone platform, I promised myself we would not add regular charts, and here we are. Yeah. If I say we absolutely won't do anything, that is prone to change. So does that mean that you're going to let us write our own indicators in the future, Pete? Because I would, please. Looking back, it seems ridiculous that in 2012 someone would have entered the crowded trading platform market with a platform that had no charts at all and be successful. Most of our customers use JTrader along another trading app. They've been asking for charts since the start. Times are changing. Two traders are feeling the squeeze. Data fees are rising, and CME are classifying traders as professional based on how many apps they connect with. Just 3 makes you a professional. That can be thousands of dollars in data fees each month. So here we are. We like to do things our way. In this article, explain our progress. It is a problem. It's well known that we aren't a big fan of indicators. We've developed a few like market profile, cumulative delta, CSI. Oh, that's the cumulative sheep index, and footprints, where we see edge and value. Basically, order flow based indicators. Our charts are based on a third-party library that has a number of indicators included. We decided to include them. We hope to wean you off them. Apart from that, there will be nothing in our trading app where we can explain why it is there, what it is telling you, and how it can assist you in your trading. I think you're kind of running into a little bit of an issue when you kind of say, well, I know what should be useful to you, and so I'm only going to give you the things that I think are useful. That's where I think that there's an issue with some of his philosophy. MMT is on the way, and President Harris will implement murder as policies. I don't know. I mean, that's the way it is, right? That's the treasuries are selling down. I think because they think that the treasuries are going to ask a higher premium from a Joe Biden administration. Yeah, I don't know. They wouldn't get rid of Powell right away, and it would be really hard to confirm an MMT believer, but you just look at when they wanted to introduce somebody that was pro gold and how big of a fit everybody threw over that. Realize if Joe Biden wins, and we do have to admit that right now that is got to be the base case. Okay, if Joe Biden wins, like the only real check on them at that point is us. It's the market. The market throwing a fit and really careening down, and it's in a vulnerable situation, right, where an economic downturn caused by negative policies could really spiral out of control into something much larger, right? And that could be enough to really put the brakes on some of the things that they might want to do. Anyways, back to Jigsaw. We have 2 background colors, dark and light. That's funny. Nerd stuff, skip if not nerdy. With the introduction of news and day trader, it became the first and only hybrid cloud Windows trading platform that I know of. Charts continue this philosophy. I spent 17 years in senior management of a multinational software technology firm with 4 teams of those running a major portion of R&D for one company. Saw a lot of technology come and go. Saw a lot of technologies jump on tech fads and lose millions. FOMO. Cloud-based apps have obvious and undeniable benefits. I also think that right now there's certain functionality day trader has where Windows technology has an edge in performance over cloud. API integration, number crunching, higher performing tools. Oh, but these are all Windows based. News window, echo, release window, charts, cloud based. But cloud apps are faster to build, and you don't need little Einsteins to build them. Complexity is lower for the charts. Here's how we split the load: inbound crashing of data, Windows-based tech, data aggregation, rendering, Chrome. Yeah, I don't know, man. The problem with doing the charting that way is that you are going to run into some barriers. But okay, so they did bust new high there. And they went through a pretty big order, and a couple of larger, well, not larger, but a couple of other big orders showed up above us, 68 and above. We are getting to, so if I can get off right here, I probably should have put that out because we're getting close to when we got to go. I talked to Peter, and day trader not supported by Linux. Yeah, I mean, it would be way too complicated to rewrite it to work in Linux because it's all C# based. Anyways, canvas is ultra fast. Yeah, okay. Well. Oh no, my robot is going short. Well, that's not what I want to see. Oh, depth short. You're such a naive little robot. So naive. I really need to flip him around and see if how it does to the other way now. It should be pretty random though. I'm guessing that we flip it around and it'll still be only win like 40% of the time. VIX continues making new post-corona lows. Oh, VVIX. VIX volatility. Michael just got here. How are you? Oh, we had a good episode today. You're kind of coming in right at the end, brother. Highs keep happening. Yeah, I really don't want to take profits here, but I don't want to distract myself all day. I got stuff that I gotta do. I don't want to be sitting watching a position. I really think that 33.80 or so is a really solid target for later in the day. But yeah. Okay, a little bit of iceberging there. They're stopping it from filling me. That sucks. It's okay, we got time. I think while holding through the drawdown was the right choice in this case. Well, it's not every day that it gives you signals like it does, like it did in the treasuries. By the way, they're at 15 in the 10-year. We go down to there. Cool. We got out. Plus 100. And we took two shorts that were bad, so we actually only made 60 off of that. But it's good. It's still good. Let's see. I really, 80, where was it? 85? 85. 33.85. Which means there's still a good 15 points left in it. Oh man, another high. I'm telling you. This thing has trend day written all over it. Especially with the way that the treasury is moving. The way the treasury is moving, that's significant. And be careful though. So people are going to turn around, and I think that they're going to say a Joe Biden win is good for the economy. Just realize that it's way more nuanced than that, and that you're likely to get this mixed reaction where it'll go higher at first, and then it might turn around and dump. because he's going to raise taxes. Unless they really don't think that he's going to be able to do it. Look at him go. I guess I could have waited. And just when it gets like within 5 minutes of when I want to quit and I don't want to hold the position, it's I always get a little anxious because they don't want it to like come down and I'm sitting there waiting. Oh, look at that. They got stops. They got stops there going. We're like well past my stop out zone too. So like, yeah. This, but like I said, the VIX target is way up here. My voice target's way up here. So this could just go 3380, 3390. Something is going to happen. Oh, yeah. Well, you watch it, because if they tag 3385, there will be like a whoosh right through it. Usually what happens is they'll just blast through it, because that's like they don't realize what's happening until it touches it, and then they puke like hardcore. So it often goes quite a bit past that. Sometimes it'll just kiss it, but usually you're good to hold it and let it splooge everywhere. I'm done. Been good. Don't want to be too greedy. I mean, the second fixed target wouldn't be too greedy, but I hear you. It is the London close is kind of like, do we really want to trade after that? At this rate, it might kiss before you go. Oh no, probably not. But it's a good move up there. Look, the thing is if you go back from the pullback and you took it at 60 and you got 10 points. Really fast too, and hardly any ticks against you. It's irrational movement, really. Unusually, suspiciously clean long. Missed the ZN drop. Well, the whole time that it was happening, I wasn't really paying attention. I need to go back and watch the video and see, like, was it that thick from the beginning, or when did that happen? At what point did it turn into that? What's Simple saying? I feel bad for Chris Wallace. Stop bringing in these old fogies and bring in someone with the skill and an understanding of modern media. We all know Joe Rogan is the only one who can handle a real debate between Biden and Trump. Well, Trump accepted an invitation, and Joe Biden did not. It's really, you're right. That's what everybody wants to see. That's what everyone wants to see with Joe Rogan. Come on. I think he would do a good job. I think that Joe Rogan would be really nervous to do it, and that would be a good thing. Know what I mean? I think that Chris Wallace thinks too highly of himself to do a debate. In the octagon, right? Nah. I hear the big thing I keep hearing from a lot of the Donald Trumps were, look, my robot went short again. Oh, so foolish. You are such a foolish robot. Foolish robot, why you short? I mean, Chris Wallace, he could be a debate. He should run for office in debate. But no, like, honestly, he thinks too highly of it. Like, you can just tell in the way that he asks his questions and everything. It's like, I'm the super smart media guy, and I'm always right. What? How dare you question my question? You need to be quiet, Mr. President, sir. It's shameful. It was shameful. The Hill talking about what is radical about racial sensitivity training. I don't think he explained that very well. Because it wasn't just racial sensitivity training. It was like they were teaching critical race theory. They were teaching like straight up Marxism in the government. That robot is gonna get destroyed. I'm not even gonna sit and watch it. You remember that the whole thing was, as I was saying, if you watch this, you're gonna get screwed because of the spoofing, and it's not as clear cut as I thought it would be, but it doesn't work. I thought that the losing rate would actually be higher, but it's only 40% win rate. So, okay, guys. Well, we had a really great video. Oh, excuse me. 18 likes. Wow, I think that's the most that we've had. If you haven't clicked that like button, one more to get to 20, and that'll be one of the most popular videos we've had. So, thank you guys very, very much. What do you think about the title? Post-debate analysis. Trump missed opportunity. Yeah. I mean, that will probably attract the ire of some Donald Trump supporters, but it's the truth. So we'll do it. Probably do that on TikTok too. Okay, guys, I gotta get going. I will see you guys tomorrow, though. And in the meantime, stay profitable.